An animal is calling. Will you answer? On a quiet afternoon in their cozy Maple Street home, Michael sat hunched over his computer, the rhythmic tapping of keys filling the air, while the soft golden light of late afternoon spilled across the living room. The calm of their home, the rhythm of their daily lives, seemed unshakable, until the doorbell rang, its urgent chime shattering the stillness like a stone thrown into a placid pond. At first, Michael barely heard it, lost in his digital world, his mind occupied with tasks and deadlines, unaware that fate was about to knock. Meanwhile, Sarah had just returned from a long, tiring shift at the hospital. Her scrubs wrinkled, her hair pulled back, but her eyes still gleaming with the kind of compassion that had earned her respect among patients and colleagues alike. She stepped into the house, ready to relax, to sink into the comfort of routine, unaware that her entire life, their entire life, was about to be rewritten in a single moment. The doorbell rang again, insistent, almost pleading, and Michael finally tore his attention away. He rose slowly, a mild irritation crossing his face. Who could it be at this hour? But when he opened the door, the scene that unfolded before him stopped his heartbeat. A young woman stood there disheveled and anxious, clutching a bundle to her chest with a desperation so raw it made the air itself tremble. Her eyes were wide, shadowed with exhaustion, and the tiny muffled coos of the infant she held barely pierced the tense silence. Michael's mind raced. He didn't know her, didn't know where she had come from. And yet, as she pressed the baby into his arms, a letter trembling in her other hand, he understood instantly that their world had shifted. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking as tears streamed down her cheeks. "I can't care for him anymore. He's yours now." Time slowed as Michael stared at the tiny figure wrapped in a worn blue blanket, the soft coos like a fragile heartbeat that demanded protection. The baby's innocence radiated from him in waves, as if the universe itself had deposited him there for a reason beyond understanding. Michael wanted to ask questions, to reason, to make sense of the chaos, but the words died in his throat. The woman turned and hurried away, disappearing down the street before he could even call out, leaving Michael frozen, holding the baby, feeling the sudden weight of responsibility press down like the gravity of the world. And then, as if the universe had chosen that exact moment to remind him of both fear and wonder, Sarah arrived home. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she took in the sight. Her husband, standing at the doorway, a baby in his arms, her mind spinning through impossible explanations. For a brief heartbeat, doubt flared. Could there be some secret she had not known? But trust and love won over suspicion, and as Michael handed her the crumpled letter, the reality sank in. Together, they read the words that changed everything. A mother, overwhelmed, alone, had entrusted her paralyzed child to them, knowing that Sarah's nursing experience could give him the care he needed. His father had abandoned him, relatives were absent, and the child's fragile body demanded attention that only devotion could supply. Michael and Sarah, stunned, looked at each other and silently understood. The baby, now in their arms, was theirs to protect, to love, and to raise against the odds. They named him Benjamin. The first weeks were a blur of hospital visits, sleepless nights, and painstaking care. Benjamin's paralysis meant that every movement had to be monitored, every breath observed, and every small gesture measured against the uncertainty of what life might hold. Sarah took leave from work. Michael rearranged his hours, and together they submerged themselves into the rhythms of care, their lives consumed by the needs of a child who had come to them like a miracle wrapped in fragility. They learned quickly that love alone could not solve everything. Medicine, patience, and vigilance became their constant companions. Yet in the midst of chaos, there was a quiet joy. Benjamin's soft coos, his faint smiles, the small victories of movement that whispered hope into their hearts. And as the days passed, life presented another twist, another soul in need. A trembling puppy, lost and frightened, appearing in their backyard on a cool morning, eyes wide with fear and a coat tangled from neglect. Without hesitation, Sarah scooped the small creature into her arms, and Michael, wary at first, agreed to bring the puppy inside. The vet confirmed the puppy, named Max, was homeless but healthy, except for a cautious distrust of humans that mirrored the puppy's experience of the world as a place that could hurt. Slowly, carefully, Max adjusted to them, forming a bond first with Sarah, then cautiously with Michael, and finally, in ways that astonished both parents, with Benjamin himself. Life became a whirlwind of care and coordination. Feedings, diaper changes, work responsibilities, veterinary appointments. Yet beneath it all, laughter found its way through. Benjamin's giggles, Max's playful antics, and the quiet moments of family connection wove themselves into the fabric of a household learning to thrive amid challenges. Then came the night that would etch itself into their souls forever. Exhausted, Michael dozed on the sofa, the baby monitor crackling softly nearby. Max lay at his feet, ears twitching, alert to the slightest sound. And then, a subtle thump, almost imperceptible, but Max's body stiffened. Without hesitation, the little puppy sprang into action. Racing to Benjamin's crib, where the baby had somehow slipped between the rails, dangling perilously, head nearly touching the floor, body swaying with dangerous uncertainty. In that moment, seconds stretched into eternity. Every instinct, every ounce of courage in the tiny dog converged. Max nudged, lifted, and pressed his small body against Benjamin, protecting, guiding, and finally saving him from a drop that could have been catastrophic. Michael awoke to the sound of Max's urgent cries and ran, arriving just in time to see the final push. Benjamin safe, gripping Max's fur, the puppy standing sentinel beside him. Tears filled Michael's eyes, not for fear, but for the profound miracle of devotion, the bond of trust between human and animal that transcends reason, logic, and explanation. When Sarah returned, she found the trio resting together, Max curled protectively, Benjamin breathing softly, Michael overcome with gratitude. Their small family had weathered the storm, and in that moment their hearts overflowed with a quiet reverence for life's mysterious ways. Weeks passed. Benjamin's condition began to improve. The paralysis slowly receding, movement returning, and with it, the laughter and playfulness of a child who had endured the impossible. Max remained his constant companion, a living testament to courage, loyalty, and unconditional love. The household settled into a rhythm, work and care interweaving, a mosaic of responsibilities transformed into joy. One bright afternoon, the family gathered in their backyard, sunlight spilling over green grass as Benjamin, now an energetic toddler, ran after Max, squealing with delight. The bond between child and dog now unbreakable. Michael and Sarah watched, their hearts swelling with gratitude, understanding that what had arrived at their doorstep in desperation, Benjamin, Max, and the trials of early parenthood had become the greatest blessing of their lives. And then, as life often does, it delivered one final surprise. The doorbell rang. Max sprinted ahead, Benjamin toddling close behind, laughter trailing like music. Michael opened the door, color draining from his face as he recognized the woman, Benjamin's birth mother. Sarah arrived just in time, tears in her eyes, heart pounding. Yet, instead of reclaiming her child, she handed them documents, a letter explaining that she had found stability, happiness, and peace. She apologized, accepted the family Benjamin had grown into, and promised never to challenge their custody. The weight of past uncertainty lifted, replaced by gratitude, joy, and a profound sense of completion. Sarah smiled quietly, revealing another miracle. She was 8 weeks pregnant, a new life joining their small but resilient family. Together they understood the truth. No matter the obstacles, love, courage, and faith in each other would guide them through. Max remained their guardian, Benjamin's unwavering companion, and their hearts, full of hope and appreciation, opened to whatever miracles awaited them next. This is the story of courage, of love, and of the small, quiet miracles that change the world. A dog saved a life, and in doing so, reminded two parents, and all of us, that even in the face of fear, devotion and love can create miracles.